Arthur Martone, 719 Park Avenue. One of the discussions on new business was about the erect commission or board or whatever you're going to form. In the past, we have no history on what's been going on with the recreation committee as far as monies and things like that. Monies were never turned over to the chief financial officer as ordinances said they should. And nobody blew a whistle and said that it should be done.
Excuse me, sir, can you tell me what year you're referring to?
Pardon?
What years are you referring to?
I'm referring to 2 years prior to this time. Now, Mr. Divers, he was on the Board of Recreation, and he received 17 pieces of paper, all he had left, from a board that had a secretary, a paid secretary, which they weren't authorized to have by directive, but they had one. Now, who monitors this? Who polices this? Who's responsible for it?
Mayor, if I can answer?
Certainly.
I cannot speak to you about what occurred in the past. I can only tell you what happened when the mayor put in place a commission and a committee. And I can tell you from that point forward, as the person who was in charge, every single dime came through the borough of Spring Lake Heights. Every single dime. To speak to anything before that, I have no knowledge per se, but I also happen to believe it was honestly handled. I don't think there is any indication in any way, shape, or form that anything untoward occurred, that anything untoward was going on. I think that this is one of those issues in our town that somehow takes on a life of its own. I can tell you, as the person who came in and took it over, in all fairness to anyone who went before me, there may have been things that the way they handled it that I may have disagreed with. There may have been things the way that they handled it that they would disagree with what I was doing. That's the nature of the beast. But the fact of the matter is, I think we should be very careful in standing up in any time, place, or form here, and sort of casting a cloud over something that, with all due respect, Mr. Martone, really did not happen, and no one has the proof that anything happened. And I think we need to be careful and respectful of each other as citizens, and be honest with each other. If someone has something, if someone has some shred of proof, if someone has something that they can point out, I will be the first one to go with you to a prosecutor's office. But I don't think anyone has that. And I don't think it's fair to the individuals who served this town for many years prior to whenever any of us were here, and who may have created these programs in the first place. I don't think it's fair. Again, with all due respect, I understand your concerns. I understand what you're saying. But what I'm trying to tell you is that that did not occur. I had no proof in any of the records that I received.
Did you have a forensic audit of anything?
Excuse me?
Did you have a forensic audit of anything?
No, sir, that was not my position.
Well, back in 1997, I came to the mayor and I spoke to him about the rec department having checks made out directly to an individual. I spoke to the mayor about it. He didn't want to hear about it, so I wrote to the state. I have copies of where they used to advertise to make checks payable to an individual. If you want to see a copy of them, I'll show them to you.
I'd be happy, but if checks were made to somebody, they may have had a voucher for it.
And they had them change their procedure. After about 10 years, we were right back to the way we were doing business before.
Again, I'm not aware of that, but at the same time, I'm not aware that anything untoward ever occurred. And I'm not quite sure it's fair to make those statements unless you have credible proof.
I'll show you.
And that's just between, you know.
Off the papers if you want to see them.
Sure.
But who's going to police it is what I want to find. Who's going to say that it's right or wrong, or blow the whistle if it comes time to blow the whistle?
The council is ultimately responsible for how the funds are dispersed.
And right now,
Situation.
Mr. Martone, right now, all monies for rec go through our financial
I
officer.
understand that. You said that to me before.
Right.
My question is, who's responsible for policing the rec department?
There is no rec department.
Or whatever you're going to have, whatever entity you're going to have.
It'll be us up here.
Well,
Well,
us up here.
we don't have it yet, yeah.
Well, we can have something now.
Well, we have to formulate something first, Mr. Martone. We haven't decided whether we're going to
And the
do.
question is going to come back at a later date.
Yes. It is going to, and it's going to be very soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? May I have a motion to close the voice of the public, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion, please, to move bills to the Finance Committee?
Second.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Ms. Cynthia? Yes. Mr. Diver?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. McConaughey?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
May I have a motion to draw voucher warrants?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call?
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Ms. Cynthia? Yes. Mr. Diver?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. McConaughey?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
May I have a motion to adjourn at 9:30 PM,
I'll
please?
make that motion.
All in favor?
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.